Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, and that's right, I'm back with another KieranCast. There's fucking wires are all over the place. I apologise for this, I'm not changing it. I've tried to set this up too many times today. Yes, I'm back. I apologise for going away for a while, for a week. Marcus was here, and we got liquored, injected each other with drugs, took heaps of pills. Not really, we just went on a mad bender of booze and burgers, and it was actually quite fun, and we played a ton of games, none of which I can review because they're all old. But in this episode, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about, I'm going to review for you fucking Dying Light 4 years later, Tropico 5 4 years later, Yakuza 0 6 months later. I don't give a shit. And then next week, what are we going to talk about, or what are we going to talk about in our previews? One game I've got, Sundered, which I was lucky enough to get a review copy, so I've been playing that for a while, but the embargo's still up, so I can't talk about that till next week. Oh no, I'm doing that cliche video game journalism bullshit. Been playing this game, but can't talk to you guys about it. They seem like, oh, look at how cool he is. Anyway, so yeah, I'm talking about that next week. But next week I thought that you guys could ask me some questions because there's literally no other fucking games. Or unless you want to recommend a game, or just keep asking me heaps of questions, and I'll do a Q&A one, and we'll review Sundered, and that'll be fun. So yeah, that's my question for the week. Ask me a question. Go for it. So before we get into that, what's better than talking about video games, talking about video games while drinking booze? So what I'm trying to, for you guys, do a different beer every time we do an episode, because I'm a legend. Today we are working with Young Henry's Newtowner, which if you live in, I think, can you get it Australia-wide? Anyway, it's from Newtown, which is near Sydney. And if you're pretentious, that's where you live. It's an Australian pale ale, one of my favourite beverages. See if I can nail the pour. I'll probably fuck it up, because I think I'll get it. And the more astute of you are going, Kieran, why are you drinking a pale ale out of an IPA glass? And the reason is, look at that. Fuck you, cunt. That's the reason. So yeah, that's what we will be drinking today. So go and grab yourself a cider or a Young Henry's Pale Ale. They also do other beers. Just look, if you take anything from this, I could do a whole podcast about beers. Branch out. You know, if you're American, stop drinking Budweiser or Miller. If you live in Europe, well, you're pretty much laughing because you've got all the beers. Australians, stop drinking VB and Tuies. Come on, expand. I know oh, look at this hipster douchebag talking about with his glasses and vinyl records behind him about, craft beers. Seriously though, branch out. Beers are, there's white beers, Belgian beers, pale ales, IPAs. I'm not going to go into it. Just branch out. So, and drink it out of a glass. It's like wine. It's an experience. God, I hope the microphone picks up my disgusting swallowing noises. Let's do it again. Yes, and I built my fucking table, which you can't see, and it's way too big and it's too low. I fucked it all up. Yeah, hopefully I put photos in. Anyway, enough of that shit. Shall we begin? Yes, we shall. I'm going to review for you guys Dying Light, which I bought in the Xbox sale, on a lot of your recommendations, and I have to say, without spoiling the review, I'm a little bit disappointed in you guys. I am. You give me this bullshit. Deep breath, so I can go on a bit of a rant about Dying Light. If you haven't played Dying Light, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a zombie game. A very unoriginal zombie game, except for one thing, and that is the parkour. So you can climb up walls and climb up here and jump here and do this and jump down and do this. And that aspect of the game is really fun. Adds a new dimension to a zombie game. It's like, oh fuck, there's zombies everywhere. Well, lucky I can climb up. But so they can climb up as well. So you have to be careful how you use your parkour. Very careful. And then when you're not using parkour, the game sucks. Now let me go into why it sucks. Actually, no, we'll talk about why it's good. Let's talk about the good things in the game first, before you get all antsy. Because I can see the comments coming already. Kieran, you suck at the game. Yeah, fair enough. I'll pay that. It's just, the parkour system is really fun. Because like I said, it adds a new dimension. It would add a new dimension to any game, really. Any kind of like open world game that you can run and jump. And it's actually quite interesting and hard to do, or not hard to do, but it's more strategic to do the parkour in first person than it would be in third person. So it actually works really well. And you can get out of zombies, getting fucked up in the zombies in a pinch. It doesn't make it too easy, don't get me wrong, because fucking this is a hard game. So that's pretty much, it looks good. I mean, this game is a few years old, because I'm, again, a bit slow on these games. Yeah, it's a bit, it looks good for what it is. It sounds good. There there's a ton of content. Like, if you picked it up in the sale like I did, like, the single-player game itself is fucking huge. But you get all the DLCs and then the co-op. I believe it has co-op. There's some I'm sure there's a cooperative mode. Anyway, I didn't play co-op. I'm not a big co-op guy. Because just fucking trying to get people on the same time. But yeah. So that's the good stuff about the game. If you're looking purely for like a game that you can fucking play from now till this time next year, this is a good game to get, especially the package. However, this game, the core of it is combat, and the combat sucks. Look, to me it sucks, and I'll tell you why it sucks. First of all, your weapons take damage. Now this adds nothing. It added nothing in Fallout or Zelda or fucking Dead Rising or any other games that does weapon damage. It just doesn't. It's irritating. And it's not, but yeah, you need to keep heaps of things so you can craft new weapons, or you have to keep looking for things to pick up new weapons, because in the end it doesn't make sense. Because in order to get new crafting things or new weapons, I have to use my weapon to get through zombies or get through whatever, mutants in Fallout, to then repair or use a new weapon, which is only going to not work anyway. So it's just this weird loop. And it sucks because, like, you get all these parts and you get all these blueprints to make these awesome weapons, like electrifying weapons that throws fire at people, at zombies. And then it's like, yeah, it's broken. And I know what you're saying. Kieran, you can repair it. Like, yes, you can repair it. Like in Fallout 3, I'm going to use as my example here, because that's, like, the biggest game with this shit I've played. You get, metal or spare metal or another weapon that's the same, you repair it, you're good. The Dying Light only lets you repair weapons a certain amount of time. So if you've spent all this time and energy creating this fucking, you've unlocked the blueprint, you've bought parts, you've got parts, you salvage parts, and then you repair it for the third time, once it's broken, it's fucked. And that irritates the shit out of me, because then you have a horde, you have so many weapons that you're like, I'm not using it, because you don't want it to fucking break. And that irritates me, because then you need to get weapons that you can use, and it's like, oh, you can't carry any more weapons. I'm like, fuck! I don't like it. I like crafting weapons. Like, crafting weapons, like in Dead Rising, is hilarious. And in this game, it's not as funny. Well, it's not funny at all, really. For reference, like Dead Rising, you could mix a chainsaw and a paddle, and then go around with two chainsaws on a paddle. Like, that's cool. But in this game, it's a lot more serious. There are still some wicked weapons, don't get me wrong, but they're really cool. And I don't want to fucking break them and lose them. And then the human combat when you're versing other enemies is weird, because they can do stuff that you can't, and I don't like that. Like, they can block and do all this stuff, and you can't really... It's just... The combat in this game gets to a point very quickly that it's like, okay, how can I get from here to there and finish this mission with doing as little combat as possible? Because this is another problem with zombie games inherently, is that you can't kill all the zombies. So why bother? Like, if it was not an open world and it was more mission-y based, such as Resident Evil, yeah, it's kind of a good example, then you can kill all the zombies and get through. But in this one, they're infinite. And that's not necessarily a knock, because that's the way the game works. It's just, why bother when so much else is making the combat shitty? Such as the weapon damage. I'm going to talk to that to death. I don't care. Apparently, like, it gets a lot easier once you've put in... I'm opening myself up, but it gets good after 40 hours. Once you've unlocked all these mega skills. But to get to unlocking those skills is just a pain in the ass, because it's like Skyrim, for example. The way you get better at lockpicking is to lockpick. So in order to get good at combat, you have to do combat. And the combat fucking blows at the start. And it's hard, and it's... Like, I play a lot of games, and it's difficult. It's not like bullshit difficult. There are some enemies that are bullshit difficult, especially in the early game. It's just, I feel like you start off too weak. And the weapons that are available to you at the start and, towards the middle they're too shitty. The type of zombies as well, they fucking... And this is, again... in the early game and towards the middle, take that much fucking damage. So much damage. And that again makes the combat boring. If you can suffer through all this shit in the beginning and get to when you're a super badass, then maybe it's worth it. But for me, that slog is just not worth it, because I get very irritated very quickly. And I know a lot of you guys will be the same. It's the type of zombie... It's kind of like a mix, actually, between... all the zombie games. So, like, Dead Rising... There's so much fucking zombies, and they don't take much to kill. That I love. That I think is fun. Because it's like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass. They're zombies. Let's mow them down. This one is kind of like there's a lot of zombies, and they're fucking really powerful and have a lot of health. At least, again, towards the start and middle of the game. And it's just like, fucking hell, I can't keep doing this fucking combat because it's irritating the shit out of me. So this is why I need two people. I can take a drink, they can keep talking. Anyway, if you want to come join the podcast, send me a message. We'll, have a fun time. And it's like, oh yeah, with other games, it's like I can slog through to see what happens in the story or see what happens with the main character. The story in this game sucks. It's not good. It's got a dynamic, I think is the word, day and night cycle. So, the zombies will fuck you up big time, styly, at night. And that's cool. I love that mechanic because it forces you to think, oh shit, is it worth it? Because if you go out, you get double XP, I believe. Is it double? I'm sure it's double. It's like, oh fuck, is it worth it? Because you will get fucked up bad. But you need double XP in order to fucking rank up. So it's interesting, and there's a lot of missions that force you to go out at night, so it's not like it's just optional. It's like, nah, fuck, you can't. You're going out at night. And it's interesting because it totally changes the way you play. Like, in the day, it's like, fuck this, I'm going to use whatever I've got, Molotov cocktails, guns, weapons, throwing shit at people, kicking zombies off high ledges, which... If the best thing about this game to me is luring a zombie up the top of like a radio tower and then kicking the cunt off. That is fucking hilarious, and I will never get bored of that mechanic. However, you can only fucking do your melee and kick a couple of times because you've got stamina. I forgot to write that down. Your stamina is like this is the stamina. So you got a beer bottle. You're like, I'm gonna fuck this zombie. Normally you would hold it the other way, but I don't want to spill beer everywhere. Like, and then it's like your stamina has depleted, and then the next hit you do is like. It's like, fucking just let me kill a fucking zombie. Yeah, I really did not like the combat in this game. Unless, if you haven't noticed that already, that's the theme. The combat in this game I do not like. But yeah, the day and night stuff is cool because then again in the night, it's like, okay, I need to be stealthy, otherwise these zombies are gonna fuck me in the ass. And they do. Brutally. And so yeah, but look... Again, if you can put up with it to when you get good at the game via your skills and weapons, but the progression just isn't sufficient enough for me. It doesn't happen quick enough. It's too slow. It's like, fuck this combat. How can I avoid it at all means, all means necessary. I'm not a fan of the game, but again, look, if you're looking for content, this game is fucking incredible. Didn't like it. So sorry, this game gets a thumbs down. I apologize. I appreciate you guys recommending it to me, and I only paid like fucking $15. While I was playing it, I'm like, yeah, this is, I can suffer through it, but it just became a point. It's like, I can't tolerate this anymore. It just pissed me off. Because I'm like a hoarder in games, and you should just come see my Diablo account. It's like, I've got all the best weapons, but they're over here because I don't want to use them. It's just, I could need them. It's why Fallout. It's like, oh... Here's a fucking broken, what's in Fallout? What are the items? Here's like a broken light bulb. I need to take it. Why? There could be a quest in 12 hours from now when I'm going to need a broken light bulb. So it's like that, but with weapons that I don't want to use because I don't want them to break. And that could be, I could be playing the game wrong. I dare someone to say I'm playing the game wrong. I'll fucking unload. So yeah, if you like it, you like it. If you like it, tell me why. I would appreciate that, because the great thing about video game reviews is, if you don't like it, and I like it, fuck you, you're wrong. But if I don't like it and you like it, well, fuck me, I'm wrong. No need to argue and have a big fanboy discussion. It's just, that's the way it works. So, bad. Wouldn't recommend it. Again, unless you're looking purely for the amount of content, would recommend. Now, Tropico 5. Did I go through the games I was going to review? I don't think I did. Anyway, I'm going to review Dying Light, Tropico 5, and Yakuza 0. I did, because I went on that big rant that they're all like 400 years old. Now, Tropico 5 is a... How would you word it? It is a city-building game where you are a dictator, and the the point of the game is to be a good dictator, but also steal heaps of money so you can retire. And it is fucking hilarious. This game and all Tropico games are just hilarious. If you haven't played one, go and look at some videos. I don't do videos on here purely because I can't be bothered, and like YouTube is cracking down like a motherfucker on this copyright shit, so it's not worth it to me. Go and look at videos. It's a real-time strategy game where you're a city builder and you have to do quests and do open worldy things or real-time strategy stuff. So I'll talk to you. It's fucking hilarious. Totally lost what I was talking about. It's fun to play. But yeah, it works well on console. A lot of these, strategy games don't, or they have to dumb them down to the point where it's like, push A to win. Civilization is a great example of that. Push it fucking... I liked Revolution. I don't care what anyone says. I'm a big Civilization fanboy. I can't wait. Oh, fuck, I think the new one's already out. Is it out? No, I don't think it... I didn't play the space one because it looked garbage. Is the new one out? I can't remember. Anyway, bring them to fucking tablet. If Roller Coaster Tycoon can do it, you can do it. So yeah, it works well on a console. I'm actually surprised. And it actually taught me that my Xbox controller, the right D-pad, is fucked. Okay, Microsoft. Fuck you. Because I thought... So I have two controllers. I've got the one that came with the Xbox. The D-pad don't work worth shit. The D-pad doesn't work well on an Xbox anyway. So I'm playing Tropico and I'm smashing it going, fucking go, and it wouldn't work. So I'm like, alright, I'll use my other controller. I'm like, how come I have two control? I know I bought one. I'll probably for like multiplayer. That was going through my head. I'm like, oh yeah, the rare times that anyone ever wants to play fucking video games with me, I'll have another controller. So I plug this controller in, play it, D-pad's working fine, and then the battery dies. And of course, I'm an idiot who shelled out $30 for a rechargeable battery kit, which should come with the fucking controller, and then it wouldn't charge. And I'm like, what the fuck? So now if I want to charge my controller, I have to plug the battery in the other controller with the fuck D-pad because it won't charge. And I remember this now because I'm like, oh, my fucking plug and charge controller's fucked. I better buy another one. Because I remember with the 360, you fucking looked at that thing wrong and it broke. So I'm like, alright, so now I have two plug and charge kits because I'm a fuckwit who didn't realise it's the controller's fault, not the plug and charge. So if you need a spare cable, send me a message because fuck me dead. These fucking controllers. So this is the irony with Xbox controllers. When you throw them, because Call of Duty World at War is being a bitch, they're hard to break. But you look at them wrong and they break like that. It's this weird... Anyway, no one cares. So yeah, it's an interesting, funny game that's actually really fun to play, and I would recommend it to anyone. Spoiler alert. So it's got a campaign that will walk you through and then ramp up in difficulty. So what you have to do is like you plant plantations and crops and pigs and cows and industry such as tobacco. So you build a tobacco farm and then you can make cigars and you flog them, export, import. And that's how you make a lot of money. And you can do mines. So it's very... what's it like? I'm not a big strategy game fan, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you watch videos. So yeah. The campaign is quite interesting because one mission will be like, well, you need to... stop an invasion by the Americans because you're your own country, right? Like any dictator country. And then you can have different relations with different countries depending on what era you're in. So you start off in you're controlled by the British, and then you get your independence, and then it goes to the world wars, so the Axis and America, and you can invite them. They'll give you money if you, fillet them enough or send them enough oil or whatever natural resource you have, and then you go into the Cold War, so the USSR, the Americans, and then you go into the modern era, which you've got Europe, Russia, America, who else is in it? The Middle East and China, and depending on how you relate to them, the other countries won't like you as much and won't send you enough money. So you've got this interesting thing in the campaign where it's like, okay, in this one we want you to export 5,000 bananas to the USSR. And then another one's like stop an invasion. The other, there's a few of you need to make enough money to retire and stuff like this. So it's fun and it's interesting enough to keep playing through. So it's actually quite good. The one issue with the fucking campaign is this weird... So every game that has a campaign... If you do the first level or the second level or the third level and you go, you know what, I've had enough for today. I'm going to turn it off, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow. And you're like, okay, where was I up to? You can either go load last save, but you wouldn't. That doesn't make sense to you, does it? Because you haven't started the 4th mission. You would go mission select or resume game, and it automatically knows where you're up to. You'd go mission select. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is done. Check, check, check. Start the 4th one. Tropico, for some fucking reason, doesn't have that. So you have to go into the menu and go load, and then you have to load the save which you have been playing the campaign on, and then it knows that you want to play the next campaign mission. It's retarded. It took me, like, I thought, oh, fuck, I have to start the whole campaign again. But I'm like, no, okay, load autosave campaign. And then it booted up the 4th mission. I'm like, are you fucking serious? That sucks. It makes no fucking sense at all. What was the UI guy doing? How hard would it be? Every game with missions has this. Or maybe you don't even have to unlock them. Like, Civilization's a good example. Fucking, here's all the things you can do. Pick one. Like, it's weird. And it's hard to explain without actually going through it yourself. But it's bullshit. So yeah, it comes also with a sandbox mode, which is great if you want to get achievements, because you can put money off. So you have unlimited money. And just go, I'm building this, and this. But of course you need to keep all your citizens happy, otherwise they'll revolt. So you can have people jailed, you can murder people, you can have them sent off the island, and then that will... So the whole goal is to keep your island happy so you stay in power. So if you don't hold elections, for instance, they'll get pissed and have an uprising. If you hold elections and only let wealthy people vote, the poor people will get pissed off and revolt. So it's this weird diplomacy, democracy, Republican, thing that you've got going on of how you want to how you want to hold your state and what you want to do with it. You can have different... it's very political when you want to get into it. You can have, like, free internet as a decree. You could have, like... what else can you have? There's so much in it that I can't for the life of me think of what it is. Secular state or religious. So that way, if you're a religious state, then your religious popularity goes up, but with the smart people goes down. So it's this weird thing that you have to play both what your people want and what you want. Because again, the main goal is to get money for yourself. But it's not a strong main goal, because like in all the other Tropicos, there's really no motivation to do so. With the money that you get for yourself, you can upgrade your character. But again, there's really little motivation to do that. So I'd recommend, if you're looking for like a thing to do in this game, just beat the story, or the campaign. That's what I would recommend. And then play the fun sandbox for achievements. So yeah, there's various situations. Like I said, you can get invaded by pirates that'll steal all your money. The Americans will come fuck you up if you don't give them enough oil. There's a big typhoon and all your crops are destroyed. Always keeps you on your toes. It looks the same, like graphically it looks the same as like the 3rd one, so they really haven't done anything there. There's a few UI problems that I have, like building roads or just the UI in general, but again, it's on a console, and I think for a console strategy game they have done well. I will applaud them for that. There's no one on the multiplayer except weird German people who send you weird messages. Das ist gut, ja. So yeah. And the El Presidente guy's gone from the 3rd one. El Presidente, which was a bit disappointing. So anyway, Tropico 5, I recommend it. Look, if you have a fucking strong PC, I'd probably play it on PC, because you strategy game, you can't beat mouse and keyboard. But on console, it works well, and if you can pick it up cheap, I definitely recommend it, because it is a fun, interesting game that you don't really see that often on console. So if you don't have a PC strong enough and you like strategy games, pick it up. Give it a go, or watch some videos, watch some other idiot talk about how good it is. Don't trust me, it's okay. My feelings won't be hurt, but I definitely recommend it if you're looking for something different. If you're sick of being Nathan Drake or Assassin's Creed or these games that are all coming out, go play Tropico. It's actually quite fun. It has got its quirks, but for what it is, it's actually a really strong game. Recommend. Right, Yakuza 0. This is where we get into the weird Japanese fucking games. Yakuza 0 is fucking weird. That is like the greatest and worst thing that I can say about it. If you are not into... But see, I'm not into... This is where it gets weird. If you like Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row, you will probably like this game. It's like that, but in a much, 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 much smaller area. Like, probably like Take Grand Theft Auto and in Los Santos, the city, take like a fifth of that, and that is the game world. But in that part it's so detailed and so dense with side quests and characters and shops and stuff to do and main missions, of course. But that's how I would describe it. Grand Theft Auto on a 1/5 of the geographical scale in Japan. And I don't think you have to be a weeaboo to like it, because I'm not a big Japanophile. I don't really like their games or their culture. I mean, I would go to Japan. I think they're pretty cool. But I'm not. It's not like, oh, I need the new... I'm not one of those people, and I have met a lot of you through the years, that, oh yeah, oh, do you like this? No, I don't really like Japan. I don't really like manga. And their eyebrows raise, and they stand at the thing and they go, Kieran, it's pronounced manga. I'm not that person, so I'm not a big fan. But I love Yakuza. It's odd. It is a fucking weird... It's just... and I will tell you why it's weird. So much like... It's got its own story, which is cool. You play 2 different characters, which is really fun. It's, again, Grand Theft Auto, but it's all melee combat. Kind of like God of War? Not in the same control scheme as like God of War. So you just keep mashing buttons, which is why the combat gets tiring after a while. But the things you can do outside of missions, so you can collect phone cards, which I believe in Japan they have hot chicks on them, and you use them to then go to a video club, and you can watch actual Japanese softcore porn. Not like 3D models from the game, like actual people. It is fucking weird. You can eat different foods. You can play all these bar games. All the games in this are so detailed. Like, all these different things could be their own game. And I know what I'm describing is like, why would I want to play that? But you have to, like, look, honestly, if you can find it cheap, pick it up. You have to experience this to experience it. It's a weird experience, Yakuza. It's just... Love it. I do. And then the side missions. They're fucking weird. Like, this one guy wants to cross a bridge, but he can't because everyone gets insulted by the jacket he's wearing. So you need to escort him across the bridge and beating the shit out of people. There's one this is like in Yakuza 4, I believe, where this guy wants to get his ice creams across the street, but he can't carry them. So you have to carry his ice creams across the street for him. It's just so weird and so different, but the controls and the gameplay are familiar, that it makes it so... Oh, it's just weird. It's really weird. So each character, so like I said, there's 2 characters. One of them, they come with their own different... Is it a mini game? I don't think it's necessarily a mini game. It's like, so one is in real estate, and the other one is in hostess clubs. So hostess clubs in Japan, the way I understand them, you go and pay girls to be nice to you. You'd probably have to experience it one day. So in like the hostess club things, it turns into like Diner Dash, where you have to make sure this customer is being satisfied, and then you can be real anal about it. It's like, well, some of these clients like conservative chicks, so then you have to go into a separate menu and dress everyone in like a more conservative thing. So you can get really anal, or you can just play it as is. The real estate one is pretty much just go here and buy it, which is unfortunate. But they're quite interesting again. The cutscenes, it does that weird fucking Japanese thing where like 1/3 of the cutscene will be full cutscene. The second third will be voice acting, but not in a cutscene. Then the third part will be just text. A lot of Japanese games, Persona does this, and then it does ... Don't do ... We're past that, Japan. Come on. And it's all Japanese, which I think adds. I would probably prefer it in all Japanese than in English. It really adds to the thing. And I don't speak Japanese. I know konnichiwa, genki desu ka, watashi no nama Kiranzon. I don't know why I have to do the accent. I apologize to Japanese people if you're watching. You're not watching. You're probably playing Octopus Rape Simulator. Because you're weird. The combat is... Look, it's like God of War, because you're just mashing square, 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 triangle, square, triangle. You can use different weapons, but it gets tedious, because it's like, okay, I know how to win this now. That's the same with most combat. It gets into random battles, so you can just be walking the streets. And then Yakuza will rock up to you and go, no, you're getting fucked up now, cunt. And then you get into arena battle. And it happens way too often. And this was a problem in all the other Yakuzas, and they seem not to have addressed it, which is a pain in the ass. Because it's like, fuck me, just let me go to this part of the map that I need to go to. The characters look stiff and unnatural sometimes. Like in the cutscenes, they just stand up like... And the face animations is not that good. But you have to keep in mind, like, this game's probably like 3 years old because they don't localize Yakuza for years, and some of them don't even get localized at all. And there is no... Look, I don't play that many Japanese games, but the ones that I do, none of them have fucking autosave. God damn you. It's... because you're so used to it that it's like, oh yeah, I finished this mission. Alright, turn the PlayStation off and go do something else. And then you come back and it's like, son of a bitch. Why can't you fucking autosave? God damn it. So yeah, Yakuza. If you're into open worldy games with, you know, with somewhat easy melee combat, you will like this game. If you're into Japanese games or Japanese culture, again, you'll probably like this game because it's set in the 80s, so it's like a different take on Japan. It's weird, and for that I recommend it full-heartedly. Because it is a decent game. So what are we going to get into now? Those are my reviews. Oh, next week or next episode, I'm going to talk to you about Sundered, which I got a review copy of, which is a side-scrolling action platforming game, I suppose you could say. It's actually quite good so far, but I'm not allowed to talk to you guys about it because I got a review copy, so thank you. I haven't had a review copy in ages. I also bought fucking... Okay, if you want me to review Fahrenheit or Indigo Prophecy, whatever it is, I will, because it was on the PlayStation sale. I'm going to go into a bit of a rant here, PlayStation. How could you do this to me? So, I saw it for $8, and I thought, it's got to be a remaster, right? So I'm like, okay, Google it. They remastered Fahrenheit in 2000, blah, 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 for the was it a network game or a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3? I can't remember. Anyway. Like, okay, so it has to be the remaster. Nah. So I bought fucking $8 worth of PlayStation 1 game. PlayStation 2 game. Like, motherfucker, what? Why? If you've got it remastered, take it off the fucking thing. God damn you. And so so I went to buy. It was $8. I haven't got any money in my PlayStation wallet. I have money in my real wallet, but not my PlayStation wallet. And it's like $8.60. I don't know what it was. So he goes, are you sure you want to buy it? Confirm funds, blah, blah, blah. I didn't read it because I assumed, yeah, I want to buy it. And then I look in the email and it's like, your $10 account, your $10 fucking credit has been blah, blah, blah. $10. It was $8 something, wasn't it? So now I've got $1 something in my account. So for the love of Christ, I don't buy a lot of stuff on the Sony store. I play my Xbox a lot more, as you know. So can someone tell me, surely to Christ, they don't fucking round up? But they have to, because why else would I be charged $10 fucking? So now I've got $1 something on my account. Fucking hell, Sony, piss me off. So yeah, if you want to recommend a game to play, tell me. I'm going to stick with Fahrenheit because I've never played it, and I want to get to the dancing David Cage. So yeah. Now, I asked you guys last week, what did I ask? Oh, what was the game that convinced you that gaming is like a serious thing, or it's going to be your hobby from now on, as opposed to, you know, sticking shit on the walls? And I got quite some interesting responses, which I'm going to get into. I'm going to start at the top. My fucking lap... God damn it. I'll tell you, I'm Max, man. Why can't it just slideshow automatic? Anyway. So, what are the games that got you into gaming? You could have emailed me or sent a comment. Some of you emailed, some of you left a comment. So we'll get into your guys' response, and then I will talk to you in depth. So Marcus says, gaming as a whole, Age of Empires 2, GoldenEye, and Conker's Bad Fur Day, all amazing games. But gaming is an in-depth experience, BioShock and Grand Theft Auto 4. Definitely agree. BioShock was one of the games that started me as like, holy shit, games can tell a story. Because, and I'll get into this later, but with the N64 and the PlayStation 2, I wasn't like a serious gamer, so I missed so many great games on those consoles. But yeah, GoldenEye was good. I never had it. All my friends did, so we just played it there. Age of Empires 2, with scarce water. That was good because it was different. I liked the more knights, you know, the medieval. Was it? Fuck, was it? Yeah, it was a medieval one. I'm sure it was. And Conker's Bad Fur Day, fucking hilarious. You can't beat that. So I definitely agree with all of those. DJ Pantsu says, Asheron's call convinced me that gaming is a hobby. I don't even know what the hell that is, so I'm not going to comment. As long as you like it. Cubit Pickle Dick, I think that... Where do you come up with these fucking names? For me, it was Unreal Tournament. It really demonstrated the potential of online multiplayer pre-Call of Duty and was really prototypical in the way it had such a large online community form over an online video game. See? That, again, we'll get into my answer, which is Call of Duty... Well, one of my answers, which is Call of Duty 4, because that was like my first foray into like serious multiplayer gaming. So I can see how that definitely... Because once you figure out that it's like, here's a game that I really like, and it's got a multiplayer, or it's just multiplayer, and there's fucking millions of people around the world playing it, it's this weird, incredible feeling that once you finally figure it out, and it took me a while because I really wasn't an online person, so I can definitely see why that is. Tony Scott says, I'd like to say the first game that I played that really made me realize the true potential of video games was the first Resident Evil. I know looking back it might seem laughable because of the shitty voice acting, cheesy dialogue, and outdated jump scares, but during the time, the game scared the shit out of me. The soundtracks alone were enough to make my skin crawl. I've always been interested by the use of music in video games, which is one of the things that gave Resident Evil a lot of its flair. It really set the atmosphere. Of course, it was topped by Resident Evil 2's music score, which is the best in the series in my opinion. I hope to God Capcom keeps a lot of the original soundtracks and modernizes them for the remake. So this is... Resident Evil was a PlayStation 1 game. Never had a PlayStation 1. And even if I did, again, the issue with that is that I wouldn't have been mature enough, or I wouldn't have been that kind of gamer yet to appreciate it. And like I said before, it annoys me because there are so many games on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, N64, PC even, that I missed, that I just, like, you can't go back and replay some of these games. You just can't. You can either wait for the remake, but I feel like with a lot of the remakes it's just fan service. Because you can't really improve the controls. Because the controls in gaming back then are fucking shit. Granted, like you said, like the shitty voice acting, cheesy dialogue, outdated jump scares, but back then that was fucking probably incredible. Looking back, it's ridiculous. So that's why I can't get into a lot of old games I haven't played, is because the controls just infuriate me. Oh god, fucking you again. I really don't know how to pronounce the Androdol. I don't know. I apologize. The game that convinced me has to be either International Superstar Deluxe, no idea what that is, on SNES, or Mario Kart 64, because I played both of them religiously at the time. I actually qualified to a National Mario 64 event as a 7-year-old. Very interesting. I am not a big fan of Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart 64 was pretty good, but ever since that one, it's like, okay, let's get the rubber banding and the blue shell out. Fuck that. But hey, if it convinced you, it can... Actually, Mario Kart 64 was quite good. It had battle mode, I remember that. I didn't have that game. Gabriel K, my first console was N64, so was mine, and I really enjoyed it at the time, but until I got a PlayStation 2 and played Vice City for the first time, that's when my mind was blown. The fact that there was this open world where I could do anything I wanted to, plus a mature story with interesting characters, that's when I realized gaming was more than just a pastime, more than just Mario. And that, I think, is, once you realize that games are more than these cheesy, Mario 64 is like one of my favorite games of all time, and one of the greatest games of all time. But like you said, when you realize that games can be a more mature thing, much like the online multiplayer thing, once you realize, it's an incredible moment. See, I played Vice City again when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I can shoot everyone. Again, I wish I could go back and play them more seriously. I played San Andreas pretty seriously, but that was significantly later, I think. Ashes Arise has wrote a paragraph. 3 paragraphs. I'm going to be the cunt that suggests a more recent game for the art form question, that is Witcher 3, because god damn it, everywhere you go in that game, it has some amazing landscapes and just brilliant world design. I will say any game that has a cartoonish look or totally different from the norm, I consider an art form. Perfect example for me is Dishonored. I thought that game was like an oil painting in motion. Going to break up. I definitely agree. These fucking idiots that say video games aren't an art form, it irritates me for the developers that are making these fucking games. How is it not an art form? I remember Roger Ebert's big excuse was, well, gamers can do anything that's not on a predetermined path. I'm not clear. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And you know what? I'm going to provide a stupid rebuttal for a stupid point, even though I think he's dead. Right, books are an art form. We can agree on that. And in books, there's a choose-your-own-adventure genre. Exactly. But they're art. It's like... these people... We'll take Elder Scrolls. have created a world full of lore and it's like its own thing, right? Then they create the game and the story. Then they create the sound, the visuals, the look of the characters, and then people play it. I don't understand the debate between how that is not art. Video games are art, people. Fucking hell. And I can't think of a logical reason as to why video games aren't art. Then you go on to say, sorry, I kind of derailed your comment. As for what game console convinced me that gaming was a hobby and a serious thing for me was not so much one in particular game console. It was more the experience of playing multiple one after the other throughout the years. Once I started to buy a console and a bunch of games, then get that feeling of wanting to invest in many more, that was it. I've been gaming since I was around 4 or 5 years old. I recently turned 28. Yes, apologies for the essay of an answer. I'm a cunt. Yes, well, you are. No, I love you. It's alright. Joshua Kennedy, what got me into gaming was when I got an N64 for Christmas and started playing GoldenEye, Mario 64, and Star Wars. There was no turning back after that. See? That's kind of like the same story for me. I got a console. I got my N64 for Christmas. And I know I say this is... hang on. I know I've probably said this story 1,000 times, but I'm still bitter. So I got an N64 for Christmas, and I was really into Lego at the time. I would have been probably 4 or 5. And so I got my Lego thing, got my N64. It was this big fuck-off pyramid Egyptian Lego anyway. So everyone else, my uncles, all that, was playing my Nintendo. I'm like, fucking hell, cunts. When am I going to get to play my goddamn Nintendo? They're all playing fucking Diddy Kong Racing. I remember this. And then I'm like, alright, well, they're playing it. I'm going to go play with my Lego. And they had fucking built my Lego. God. Can't have anything in my life. Very upset. The Melon Daddy says, back in the day as a child, on N64 it was Shadows of the Empire. PS1 it was Metal Gear Solid. PS2 it was Vice City. The list goes on and on. Cunt. Great choices. Shit. Killer HD Gaming. I'd say Mario Kart Double Dash got me into gaming. I have no idea what that is. Good for you. Double Dash. Would that be on GameCube? I can't remember now. Jordan Hints Diablo 2 for sure. Mate, Diablo is the best. Aaron says, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, lol jokes. Don't joke, Aaron. We know you're serious. I only used to play games from series that I liked, playing them over and over again until I got PlayStation Plus. For something like $60 a year, I suddenly had access to a shitload of games that I would never have bought myself. It's where I played my first Saints Row and Far Cry games, which are two of my favourite modern game franchises. Also, Spyro is art. Also, make your KieranCast your vlog. I am making my KieranCast. Spyro I never played, because I never had a PlayStation 1, and again, I couldn't be bothered on PlayStation 2. It's interesting what you say about PlayStation Plus. I definitely agree. It forces, well, you got to get your money's worth to play games that you've never really played, and that's what I appreciate it. And everyone's like, well, when are they going to put a good game on there? Look, just take the indie games, take the games from 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because chances are if you haven't played them, they're probably fucking amazing. That is my recommendation. And then I got it. Fucking here we go. This is where Max fucked me out. Just put them in order that I put them in this fucking slideshow. I got an email. I apologise. I don't actually have it open. Oh, yes, I do. By Lawcan. Uncharted 4, Red Dead Redemption, and Mafia 2 sold me on gaming cunt. Well, you must be younger than I. But anyways, those are all great games. It worries me that you said Uncharted 4. Have you played the other ones? If not, fucking hell, mate. Go play the rest of them. Mafia 2, I think... Mafia 2, yeah, I could see that. Dan Carter says Sly Cooper games were incredible, never played them. And then Arsene Wenger, who has taken time to stop coaching Arsenal to send me a message. The game mode that made me decide... fucking hell, if I could read. The game that made me decide gaming was going to be my hobby was Chucky Egg on the ZX Spectrum 48K. Played at a friend's house and got addicted, then spent the next 6 months begging my parents to get me one for Christmas. I have no idea what either of those are, but fuck me dead. That's commitment. So now I figured I would answer the question. Mine's going to be a long rambling response with fucking that many games. It's not funny. So let's get into it. Hang on. Running out of breath. I haven't done this in a while. Calm blue ocean. So... like I said, I got my N64 for Christmas when I was 4 or 5, and I had Mario 64 and Diddy Kong Racing. And then I got the Banjos. But the problem with that is that they were so similar to Mario. So I played them because they were fun, and then like my friends had WWF No Mercy, played that, but there was always like, this is fucking incredible in the back of my head. Then as we got a computer, fucking hell, how old was I? We got a PC pretty early, and on it came Commandos, which is fucking hard even back then, and across the road had Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I went over, and he was like, playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'm like, motherfucker, I need this. And I would have been in primary school, and they had this book club thing. So you got this newsletter, and it's like what they have for sale. And in the back was Roller Coaster Tycoon. I'm like, motherfucker, I need it. So I begged and begged and begged, got Roller Coaster Tycoon. And now I have it on my iPad, and look, it's so good. And again, even though it was a crappy simulation game where you built roller coasters in your own theme park, there was something in the back of my head that's like, this is fucking the greatest thing ever. And I used to, go to school when I was a kid and think, okay, what am I going to build in my next park? That's all I could think about. And then I mostly played PC, and it was Age of Empires, but it was never anything like, this is really serious, or this is like a serious story or gameplay. Then I got a PlayStation 2 for my birthday, so I skipped PlayStation 1 completely. A friend of mine had one, but again, it was pretty much like, it plays FIFA. PlayStation 2, I played pretty much wrestling games, FIFA, and Grand Theft Auto. Again, there was nothing that serious. And then in the 2000s, I saw... between all this, by the way, was The Sims. I know, look, people talk shit about The Sims, but The Sims, I think, is like this big launch pad for people to get into games, and it definitely was for me. I remember we were going to get a new computer because I was on the computer all the time. This is where I self-taught myself computers, and then I'm like, I'm going to do computers for a living, and then okay, look, let's go into a rant here. Don't self-teach yourself anything, because when you go and do it at an educational institute, whether it's university or college or whatever it is, they're going to go, yeah, you're pretty smart, you can do this, this, and this, but you have to do it this way. You have to unlearn and relearn everything that you've done to appease them. Fuck it. And don't do networking. My God, if you do networking, you just look at it and go, why the fuck do you do it that way? Why? Windows Server, fuck you. Anyway, so yeah, I was on the computer all the time. We're going to get a new one, like a better one, with fucking Windows XP. And I don't know, did it come with The Sims? I don't know, for life I can't remember. Or we got The Sims before and it wouldn't work on Windows 98, or it wouldn't work on the computer that we had. So at school, in primary school, we had all Macs. I don't know why. Poor ass primary school, and they were buying Macs. But there was one Windows computer in the room. So I snuck in recess, installed The Sims, and then that's what we did. We played Sims. So it launches people. I like The Sims. I still like The Sims. I'm not going to apologize for it. Anyway, back to the story. So yeah, middle 2000s, I was watching Saints Row gameplay, and I'm like, holy fuck, this looks incredible. Then begged and begged and begged for an Xbox 360 for my birthday. Got it. Didn't want Xbox Live. I'm like, I'm not going to play. What the hell's multiplayer anyway? To me, multiplayer was always, we're sitting on the, next to each other playing FIFA. Then Call of Duty 4 came out. And I got it, played through the single player, and I believe, did it come with a free month? I can't remember. Anyway, I had a month of live. And I'm like, what the hell? Okay, let's give it a go. And I jump into a multiplayer game. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? There's all these people from around the world playing. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I got addicted. I'm like, I need to keep playing Call of Duty. And from there, you meet people who are like, oh yeah, Bioshock's coming out. And then you play Bioshock and you're like, holy fuck, I'm mature enough, I'm old enough to understand the themes and the story, the gameplay, all the mechanics, and it just clicks. So for me, there is really no one game. It was more of like a slow ramp to like, holy fuck, this is such a great industry. Started off really casual as a kid, and now look at me. So that's my answer to the question. A lot of games. It's The Sims on PC, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Grand Theft Auto, Mario, Call of Duty 4. You look back and think, fuck, was that was really the game? Like Call of Duty now, I can't imagine a kid going, fuck, Call of Duty, now I can't wait to play Bioshock. It's just... But looking back, it's like all these silly games that all led to one big thing. So yeah, that is my answer. I don't know how long we've been rambling on for. 49 minutes, that's not bad. So yeah, for next week, I'm going to review Sundered. There's really nothing else that I have that I can talk about. So if you want to leave me questions or email me any questions, they can be about anything. I don't really care what they're about. Send me a message. So thank you for watching, and until next week or next time, this fucking desk that I made is too small and it hurts my knees. Fuck. And I fucked it up too. Like, I measured it. See, we'll talk about the desk. I don't care. Hopefully I put photos in. I ran out of wood, first of all, but it actually worked out well because I've got some holes that I can run cable through. And I'm measuring it, and I must have a right-hand tape measure. I'm not left-handed. I'm this weird, not ambidextrous, but some things I do. Like, I write with my right hand, I throw with my right hand. But when I eat, it's left hand. When I do other things, it's with my left hand. And I must measure left-handed. So I measure it, and here in Australia, and part of the educated world, millimeters, the metric system. But I can't see it because it's upside down. So I like to measure in inches, which is fucking... Oh yeah, let me cut this piece of wood that's 7 and 32, 17/32s of an inch. Fucking, how do you use it? I don't know. So I fucked up the measurement, as you always do. It won't sit flat. Why would it? That'd be too goddamn convenient. But it works. I can do my rest pose. So yeah. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, some of your comments, questions, concerns, and we will talk next week. So until next time, rate, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Au revoir.